What's going on, guys? Instant Death Mouse here, and today we're out on the farm and we are going to be testing out some reloads for the 1911. Now, in the last video I told you I had plans for polishing up the trigger, the slide release, the hammer, and the faceplate. I actually went ahead and did that. I don't know if you can see right here, slide release, the back side of the skeletonized trigger, and that faceplate. I don't know if you can get in there and see or not, but I think it gives it a little bit better look. I still don't like the pearl handles on it, but you know, what can you do? This is empty. I'm going to go ahead and load it up. I've got 3 different loads here. Let's see. I've got 7.5 grain, 8 grain, and 8.5 grain. So basically I'm just going to put 2, 2, and 2, and then I'm going to follow it up with 1 round of the factory ammunition. There's just some store-bought stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up here and see what we get. Doing this test with my stepdad's Glock, the 7.5 grain felt a little underpowered, the 8 grain felt just about factory, and the 8.5 grain felt a little plus P, and actually shooting the 8.5 on the edge of the trigger guard would actually hurt the front of my finger. Alright, I'll go ahead and put ears on and talk you through this. Take my hat off. Alright, so what we got is 1 factory bullet. This is 230 grain round nose, and then under that I have 7.5 grains of powder, 2 shots of 7.5 grain, 2 shots of 8, and 2 shots of 8.5. So let's see if I can feel a difference in this heavy metal gun. You ready? Alright, gonna go ahead and load up the factory round and we'll see what's going on. Alright, that's factory. This is the 7.5 grain, 2 shots. Alright, this is the 8 grain, 2 shots. And here is the 8.5 grain, 2 shots. Now, honestly, I couldn't really feel a difference between those. I'm going to go ahead and load up another magazine and try it again. Alright, got them loaded up again. This is 1 round of factory, 2 of 7.5, 2 of 8, and 2 of 8.5. If I can't feel the difference with this, we'll mix them all up and see what happens. Alright. Ready? Alright. That was the factory. Alright, here's 2 rounds of the 7.5 grain. Alright, 2 rounds of the 8. 2 rounds of the 8.5. Alright, clear. There's a slight difference between them, but I can't really feel much. Alright, this time they're all mixed up. I got the factory round on top, and the rest is the mix of the 7.5, 8, and 8.5. So, I'm just going to go through them individually, see if I can guess which one it was. Alright, this is the factory. It felt kind of hard. It kind of felt like an 8.5. And could all be. That one was definitely 8.5. Alright, we're clear. can't really make a difference between them. But honestly, that's fine with me, because the way these are set up, the press that I use will only load the 7.5 and the 8.5. These 8 grain are all hand loaded. Each one is checked and then dumped into the case, but these are actually made on the press. So I'm gonna load 3 of these up, and I'm gonna mix 4 rounds of the factory ammunition in it, see if I can make heads or tails of what these are. This is one of the 7.5, one of the 8, and one of the 8.5 with one of the factory rounds in. Here's on. I can't make heads or tails of which one's which. I did load up some other ones. We are clear, by the way. I did load up some other ones of the 8, just because I figured those would cycle the best, because they are midway of what I perceive to be the low and high. So, the way these are, let's see, I don't know if you can tell, but these are small primers and these are large primers. I'm going to throw a few of these in there, see if there's a difference between the small and large primers. The way I got these set up is small, large, small, large, small, large. There's 7 rounds in here, so it's 3 of the large primers and 4 of the small primers. And gonna see if there's any difference in power-wise between the 2 of them. Kind of thinking there's not gonna be any, and if it is, then I probably won't be able to tell. So, there's a small primer up first. Large primer, small primer, large primer, small primer, large, small. Oh, we have either failure to lock back, failure to eject, or a failure to... Ooh, alright. I have a failure. Apparently was a failure to chamber. Maybe there's something blocking it. I'm going to tear it down, make sure nothing's blocking the barrel before we go on. Alright, got it all tore down. There was nothing blocking the barrel. You see right through it, it's clear. I'm thinking it was maybe just a failure to chamber. Maybe it was a weak load, didn't cycle completely. So I'm going to put this back together and we'll get back to it. Alright guys, really didn't notice much between the 3 different loads, although I did figure out that I'm going to have to put some Loctite on the screws on the grips here, because they just keep working themselves loose. Kind of hoping that they would hold themselves in place. But we'll just have to work on that. Kind of strange I wasn't able to tell the difference between the 3 different loads with my stepdad's Glock, although that is basically an all plastic gun. There was, you could tell there was a difference in the noise and the feel of how it shot. But I guess since this is such a heavy gun, that it really doesn't make that much of a difference. So I'll probably just stick with either the 7.5 or the 8.5. That way I can actually go through my press and load them. But I'm gonna put a few more rounds down, and that'll be all. Alright guys, we're going to finish off the last of these reloads, and then I'm going to call it a day. It's getting kind of hot out here. The bugs are starting to come out too. So I'm going to empty out this mag. I got 1 in the chamber and then 7 in the magazine, and then I'm going to call it a day. So here we go. I really like this pistol. I've never shot a 1911 before, and it's always been one of those iconic guns. And I picked this one up fairly cheap. It was one of the cheapest ones I could find, and I'm pleased with it. So I'm gonna pick up all this brass and get back to the house. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I'm up to, I think it was 122 last time I checked. And honestly, I didn't even think I'd get this far. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments, ideas, or questions, just go ahead and put them in the comment section. I'll respond to every single one of them. And make sure to subscribe and thumbs up this video, especially if you like what we do here. I've got some people coming on. I got my cousin coming on. I got one of my good friends coming on here in the next couple videos. So stay tuned. Shut up. Don't judge me. I've got subscribers now. Like 120 of them.
Okay.
Magazine and try it again. The grips are coming loose on this thing. Need to put some like Loctite or something in there.